Attention passionate Buffalo, BILLSFANS. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Buffalo Bills' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Buffalo Bills fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Buffalo, BILLSFANS. Let's get to the news all right. Folks, buckle up because what I'm about to tell you could be a real game changer for the Buffalo Bills and the entire AFC East. Rumors have been swirling around, and they're pointing to a blockbuster trade that could shake up the landscape of the division. And it all centers around Dexter Lawrence, the interior force from the New York Giants. Now, before we dive into the details, let me remind you that this isn't just some idle speculation. This is coming from credible sources like Rossini, and it's something we should all keep an eye on because it could redefine how the Bills approach their defensive front and their quest for another Super Bowl appearance. So, here's what's being tossed around. There's talk that the Giants, currently sitting at 5'10" with a cap space of around $10 million, are eyeing a rebuild. Their defense, ranked 25th last year, giving up about 25 points per game, needs some serious reinforcements, and Dexter Lawrence is at the center of that plan. The Giants are reportedly willing to part ways with him in exchange for a first-round pick in the 2026 draft, plus a defensive tackle from the Bills' reserve squad. This move would be aimed at clearing cap space and rebuilding from the ground up, especially after their offensive struggles, which scored just 280 yards per game and left them with odds of plus 20 to make the playoffs last season. But why would the Bills be interested? Well, Dexter Lawrence isn't just any defensive tackle. This guy is a true disruptor, a tornado in the middle of the line who can overpower offensive linemen and wreak havoc on the run game and the pass. His stats from 2025 tell the story. He posted a PFF overall grade of 75-0, ranking him 10th among defensive interior players out of 128, and an incredible pass rush grade of 90.9, which put him at the very top of the league. That's elite level right there. He may not have accumulated sacks last year, but that's a reflection of how teams scheme against him. He still managed 19 solo tackles, 11 assists, and pressured the quarterback 7 times with an EPA, expected points added, per rush of -0.10. It's the kind of production that makes offensive lines tremble. And if you consider his career, he's racked up 30 sacks over 3 seasons, with a career PFF grade of 93.4, which is staggering for a young player. His ability to generate QB hits, 80 so far, and pressure rate of 12% shows that he's a constant threat. Comparing him to someone like Aaron Donald isn't far-fetched, especially considering his grades have consistently been 85+ over the past 5 years. That kind of player would do wonders for the Bills' front, especially as they look to boost their sack numbers and create chaos for opposing quarterbacks. Now, let's look at the bigger picture. The Giants, motivated by a full rebuild, are seeking cap relief and are willing to trade Dexter for that first-round pick in 2026 and a reserve DT from Buffalo. They're in a tough spot right now, sitting with limited cap space and needing a significant overhaul. Their offense remains weak, averaging only 280 yards per game, which explains their odds of missing the playoffs again. The Bills, on the other hand, are in a prime position to take advantage of this situation. Adding a player like Lawrence would be a massive upgrade for their interior defensive line, especially given the current injury concerns with Ed Oliver and Daquan Jones, as well as the IR stint of Shaq Lawson. Imagine Dexter Lawrence lining up next to Daquan Jones and Ed Oliver. That trio would instantly transform the Bills' run defense and pass rush. Lawrence's presence alone could increase their sack total by about 8 or more, making them one of the most disruptive fronts in the league. His ability to collapse the pocket and push the interior linemen back would lead to a significant drop in opposing rushing yards, projected to go from around 120 yards per game down to about 102. That's a 15% reduction, which is huge in today's NFL. Plus, his pressure rate could jump from 30% to around 38%, forcing quarterbacks into uncomfortable throws and creating more turnovers for the Bills' opportunistic secondary. And let's not forget his impact on the Bills' overall defensive efficiency. His EPA per rush could improve from -0.8 to around 20, meaning the Bills would be more effective at stopping drives early and setting up their offense with better field position. With the Bills' offense ranked 5th in the league, and their ability to capitalize on turnovers, this upgrade on the defensive line could push them even closer to the top of the AFC standings. It's all about creating a complete team that can sustain success through the grind of the playoffs, especially considering how crucial disruptive interior defenders are in today's game. This move wouldn't just be about adding a star. It's about shifting the entire defensive dynamic, making the Bills a nightmare for any team that tries to run or pass against them. It would also help alleviate some pressure on the secondary, allowing them to be more aggressive knowing the front can handle the run and collapse the pocket. For Buffalo, this kind of upgrade could be the difference between a deep playoff run and an early exit. It's a strategic move that signals serious intent, going all in on a championship push. And if we look at the big picture, a trade like this could boost the Bills' odds of winning the Super Bowl. In recent simulations and betting odds, adding a player of Lawrence's caliber increases their chances significantly. For instance, in Super Bowl LX, odds could jump from plus 500 to plus 250 with his addition, making them one of the top contenders in the league. His presence would serve as an X-factor against strong rushing teams like the Ravens, and his ability to sack the quarterback more consistently in the playoffs, potentially increasing their playoff sack rate by 15%, could be the catalyst for a deep postseason run. It's not just about one player, but the message it sends to the entire league. The Bills are serious about competing at the highest level and are willing to make bold moves to get there. Of course, there are questions and challenges. The Giants are looking for cap relief and a high draft pick, and the Bills would have to weigh the cost of the reserve DT and the draft pick against the immediate defensive impact Lawrence provides. But in a league where defenses often win championships, particularly when they can get after the quarterback with relentless pressure, this trade could be the difference maker. It's about building that top-tier interior rush that can change the course of games, especially in the playoffs where every possession counts and every sack can be the turning point. And for us, Bills fans, this is the kind of move that energizes the entire fan base. Imagine the roar at Highmark Stadium when Lawrence takes the field in that Bills uniform, ready to eat up the interior line of opposing offenses. It's a move that says Buffalo is not just content to compete, they want to dominate. They want to be the team that strikes fear into every opponent's heart when they see that Bills front line. It's about creating a culture of relentless pursuit of greatness, and Lawrence's addition would be a huge step in that direction. Now I want to hear your thoughts, Bills Mafia. Do you think this trade makes sense? Would you be willing to part with a draft pick and a reserve player for a talent like Dexter Lawrence? How do you see this impacting the Bills' chances this season and beyond? This is the kind of move that could define a generation of Bills football, and I can't wait to see what happens next. Keep your eyes peeled, because if this deal goes down, it's going to be a game changer, and I'll be here to break it down right as it happens. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YOUTUBE algorithm to keep recommending the latest Buffalo Bills news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Buffalo Bills fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this potential blockbuster? Are you excited about the idea of Lawrence donning that blue and red? Do you believe this could push the Bills into Super Bowl contention? Drop your thoughts and predictions in the comments below. Your opinion really matters, not just to us, but to the entire Bills community. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, rumors, and analysis, so stay tuned for the latest Buffalo Bills news. Let's keep this passion alive and keep pushing toward that next championship. Go Bills!